Hey everyone, welcome to another Density Insights episode. In real estate investing, it is crucial to understand how the mortgage works. For many people, it is a big financial responsibility and commitment. That's why we have invited experts in this field to tell you more about it. Kyle and Joe, the co-founders of Roots, want to share some tips and insights on how to find the right mortgage. Roots is an online price matching platform built to bridge the disconnection between home buyers and banks to enable a simple and efficient mortgage process. Prior to starting Roots, Kyle and his partner Joe have worked in the mortgage financing and private wealth sector for a number of years. In this interview, we will discuss what to be aware of when choosing the right mortgage. I hope you enjoyed this episode and please let us know what you think of it. Thanks. So hey everyone, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Very good, very good. So I just want to say thank you for coming on because mortgage is a very big topic in real estate for sure. And then not many people actually tackle that except for the traditional professional like bankers and so on. So having someone like you guys, which is a very interesting product, is I think it's a very cool idea. And then thanks to Elliot for introducing us together. And then I think that the audience will appreciate to learn more about mortgages and how to do it for first-time buyers. So let's start in the beginning. Would you mind telling us about your background? And then let's start with Joe and then Kyle.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Darren, for the opportunity. So my name is Joe, and I'm a co-founder of Roots, together with Kyle, who is also here today. So a little bit description about myself is after I graduated from the UK, I came back to Hong Kong, started working for private banks, one of the Swedish private banks in Hong Kong, for around 4.5, 5 years. Then I feel like big corporates might not be the thing for me for the future, for my career-wise. So I started doing an MBA in HKUST, where I meet Kyle. So together, we both are the ones who don't want to work for big corporates and want to start something for ourselves. So together with some of the background that Kyle might talk to you about later on his profile, we started Roots because we think that we have the network and we have the intelligence or the professional background to help Hong Kong home buyers to get their mortgage done as soon as possible and as fast as they can to make sure that they can complete the whole process online.
Kyle, how about yourself?
So I graduated from the USA, and then I came back after graduation. Similar to Joe, worked in big corporates for a couple of years. I was in the accounting and finance field. And then after a couple of years, I just thought that, that time tech was booming and I wanted to learn more about how startups work and all that. So I decided to go into MBA, and I met Joe there. And actually, Joe and I actually went through a lot of ideas on what sort of startups that we can potentially start. And our experience told us that mortgage is something that a lot of people know about, but also at the same time don't know about. For example, one of our common friends who went through the mortgage process with a very strong, solid background, but ended up almost losing her deposit for the property because the mortgage process pretty much sort of screwed her up, without the lack of a better term, because of the complication and all that. And we found out Joe and our knowledge was able to help the process to refine and make it more simpler, make it more straightforward for the people in Hong Kong who want to purchase property. So that's how we started, and it's been a year or so, and things have been going well so far. So yeah, now here we are. We're hoping to expand our company in the next year or two.
Yeah, well, when I learned about your business, right, it's a really cool idea. It's something that I never thought that would before. It's like such a something that you think that 2020. People already built that product out, but no one's doing that except for you guys so far. So before talking about Roots, right, the company, what did you guys do? Would you mind telling the audience who might not be familiar about the mortgage landscape in Hong Kong?
So basically, mortgage is like a loan for property owned or purchased as a collateral. So the loan is secured against the value of your home until it's paid off. And given Hong Kong is the number one or most expensive city to live in, the property price are close to USD 2K per square feet on average. And 90% of the property purchased in Hong Kong requires a mortgage. So because how expensive it is, not many people can full pay the property upon purchase. And the average mortgage size is around 4 million Hong Kong dollars. That being said, we found out a lot of potential buyers do not understand what mortgage is, as I said, and how to apply for mortgage, resulting in over 300, 400 cases of forfeit of deposit a year, and adds up to 400 million Hong Kong dollars in 2019 alone. So on average, we're talking about at least 1 to 2 cases of forfeit of deposit that happened last year.
I see. So what's the usual process to obtain a mortgage? And when should you do so within the real estate investing process? And for that, how does Roots help in the whole process?
So oftentimes in Hong Kong, investors will apply for a mortgage from the banks in Hong Kong after they place their initial deposit for the property they want to purchase. And the mortgage application process can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months. Therefore, we always encourage our investors, home buyers to act on the mortgage application as soon as they place their deposit and allow sufficient time to complete the purchase. The date that the buyer usually has to pay the outstanding amount to the seller is around 90 days in general. So usually the application process, which takes 2 weeks to 2 months, will be sufficient to process the property purchase process. Some part of the world is very different. They have something what we call approval in principle. That means that the potential home buyers can go to a bank before placing a deposit for the purchase and get a pre-approval that states how much the bank is willing to loan you. So with this, the buyer can confidently place deposit on a property based on the pre-approval loan amount. So as we see the difference here, right? The biggest risk we see for home buyers and investors in Hong Kong is that they have to place the deposit first and check with the bank to see whether the bank is willing to provide them the mortgage. And oftentimes we see that home buyers fail to obtain a mortgage from a bank and have to forfeit a deposit place because they don't understand the process and how things work. So we encourage home buyers to talk to mortgage consultants like us because we work closely with the banks, right? We are familiar with the process, and we can do all the numbers crunching beforehand to make sure the buyer profile fit within the bank's approval guideline. And at the same time, we can increase the approval rate, so lower the risk at the same time.
I see. So for a typical mortgage, right, for an apartment or a house, what should a homeowner expect to get? I mean, in terms of rates, LTV, and payment term, etc.
So in Hong Kong nowadays, home buyers can get up to a loan of 90% for private estates and 95% for subsidies public housings. In order to get the maximum 90% of mortgage, the home buyer has to have no property under their name, as well as the property price has to be below 10 million Hong Kong dollar. Anything above 10 million Hong Kong dollar will have a maximum loan ceiling of 50% of the property price. For interest rates, as of now, August 2020, it will be around 2% to 2.5% total, depending on the HIBOR, what we call Hong Kong Interbank Offer Rate. And the payment term can go up to around 30 years maximum. Also, bank offers cash rebates to new mortgage applicants to attract applications. Some cash rebate would be around up to 1% of the loan amount approved. But the cash rebate are going down right now because of the uncertainty over the market. So you expect around 0.2 to 0.5% of the total loan amount approved.
I see. And so how does a lender assess a project, and how do the key terms vary?
That's a very good question. So the banks usually look at two things, right? The two big things. The first thing is the property, the security, the collateral, and at the same time, the customer profile. In terms of the property, the bank will assess based on the type of the property and the age of the property. Banks typically favor private estates, so such as Taikuxing. These are private estates. They prefer these over village house or tenement buildings, which we call 唐楼, the ones without the elevator. And applying for a mortgage, usually using a favorite property as collateral will likely allow borrower to obtain a more favorable term, such as a longer term loan or a lower interest rate. On the other hand, the bank will assess the lender's profile based on their income, their age, the credit score, and banks typically favor applicants with stable income, and they have a tighter policy for self-employed applicants. And older applicants in terms of age will typically lead to a shorter loan term. So again, right, like for anyone who's interested in the property to purchase, looking for a mortgage, it's better to ask for a mortgage consultant beforehand. Make sure that they can get the maximum loan amount that they can.
So on that note, right, does that mean, like, how about for a married couple or like a family with a kid, or let's say different income level of the household, right? How does that affect the approval as well?
Well, typically, right, like banks will, if let's say a married couple wants to purchase a property together, the banks will assess them together. They'll assess both of their profiles in terms of their income, and their age and the credit score together. If let's say one of the applicant is younger than the other, they will usually take the lower age, and they will take both of their income together as the total household income. And because of that, with two sets of income, usually married couples will be able to purchase a property with a higher value compared to a person who is, a single person household.
I see. So what are some points to know for first-time buyers who is applying for the mortgage? Any tips for them?
So I guess there are three major points for first-time home buyers. The first one is obviously affordability. So as Kyle was just mentioned, there was a household income so-called stress test required for anyone who wished to purchase a property in Hong Kong that applies the mortgage. To put it in the simplest term, for every 10,000 Hong Kong dollar of salary, will get you around 1 million Hong Kong dollar worth of mortgage loans. So given that there's no other outstanding repayment, that will be the simplest term in order to calculate the stress test. The second point will be choice of banks. So there are so many banks in Hong Kong that offers mortgages. And the big four, what we call HSBC, Bank of China, Hang Seng Bank, and Standard Chartered, are the better ones with better process and faster approval timeframe. Most of the mid-tier banks will have a better cash rebate, as what we just talked about, to attract clients, but they are more picky in terms of property type and the application profile. The third point will be documentations. So the below will be mandatory documents required from every bank to apply for mortgage, including your identity proof, which normally would be the Hong Kong ID, salary proof, your tax receipt, the latest 3 months of bank statements, as well as the sales and purchase agreement. These documents are necessary in order to kickstart the application. Other banks might have required a follow-up documents depending on the situation and the applicant to facilitate the approval process. So I guess these are the three main points: affordability, what banks are you going to apply, and what documents you need before you are going to apply for a mortgage.
I see. So obviously I look into Roots, and then you guys saying that you guys are solving the troublesome on applying for mortgage application one by one. So can you tell us more about how you guys help the home buyer to approach this process and secure the mortgage?
Okay, so as what Kyle has said, we saw a lot of forfeit of deposit or mortgage reject or cases in the last few years. Actually, there are around 400 cases every year. So as we are talking right now, there's possibly one case out there we just forfeit the deposit because of mortgage rejection. So at Roots, we can help to solve this rigid and intransparent mortgage process by reversing the existing journey in Hong Kong. As what Kyle has said, there are some sort of approval in principle elsewhere in the world, but not in Hong Kong. So by first knowing what banks are willing to offer you before placing your deposit, with our risk engine, we can help to eliminate the risk of an unsuccessful purchase due to denied mortgage applications, making sure that you have the right application for the right bank to complete your home purchase.
I see. So obviously, as a prop tech founder like myself and you guys, how do you envision Root to grow into? What kind in terms of scalability, the features, and so on like that?
So while we started off in Hong Kong because we're born and raised here, we actually visited Taiwan end of last year and attended the Taipei FinTech Week. And we realized that Taiwan could be our next expansion point. Taiwan is actually very similar to Hong Kong in terms of demographics. There are a large portion of up and rising younger population, which faces daily challenges in getting a mortgage and property because of the complicated process. So while their pain points might be similar but not exactly the same, but having said that, our solution and our experience in Hong Kong, understanding of the banking system in Hong Kong, maybe we can apply our solution with a little tweak and apply it in Taiwan. But I mean, having said that, right, like we have, we hope that we can complete our R&D and revamp by the end of this year, which is happening soon. Please, so stay tuned, and establish our roots in Hong Kong. So once we build a solid foundation in the local market, I think by the end of maybe next year, we're ready to expand into other locations or any other places in the world.
That's really cool, because I think you guys use the tagline, the Expedia for finding mortgage, and I think that's so cool that you guys can do that. So I think I have some side questions for you guys, right? Have you guys thought of for example, there's some houses might looking for a second lien or third lien loan. Will you guys consider that, and are you guys sticking with residential, and then or going to expand for different asset and property type?
As of right now, right, just in Hong Kong, most of our transactions are focused in residential properties. We're open to, actually, technically speaking, if any customer coming into us, asking us to help them out looking for a mortgage, actually any type of property we can do. So it's basically the same process for us. But then again, since most of the transactions are focus in the residential property. So I would just tell you that our focus right now will still be the residential market.
I see. And I'm sure for a tech product, right, I think it's very interesting because more consumer facing. And I think where people are stuck at is people that don't have the luxury to learn these kind of knowledge and then understand the process. So, I'm sure a lot of people will get benefit from your product. So what kind of takeaway would you want the audience to have from this video?
So I guess what we want to say is Roots is an online robo-advisory platform which allows home buyers to apply and compare mortgage, just like you said, as simple as what we put as booking your trip on Expedia. The second thing is typical mortgage property purchase is risky, and it requires home buyers to place deposit before they apply for a mortgage in Hong Kong, which is not the ideal way to do it. However, it is the way and we have to stick to it. And we've tried to reverse the process by using Roots to help analyze your profile and increase your mortgage approval rate through our predictive algorithm. And that's what we are trying to do right now to help people bring back their roots to Hong Kong.
I see. For the people who want to talk to you more about this subject and then your service and so on, what's the best way you suggest them to reach out to you?
So if they're interested to know more about how to purchase a home or how to apply for a mortgage, you can reach out to us through WhatsApp at 9787-2498 or our email compare@hkroots.io. So feel free to reach out to any of these emails or WhatsApp, and Joe, myself and Kyle will be able to help you with any questions you have.
And I'm sure that I'll put everything in the show notes, and then obviously I'll have a profile for you guys to tell people more about how to do mortgage in Hong Kong or in Taiwan per se. And I want to say thanks for coming in. And then there are a lot of questions about mortgage I want to ask you more, but we'll leave it for round 2 in the future then.
Sounds good. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah,
Thank you
no
so much.
worries. No worries. And then like, until next time, thank you so much. Cheers.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. What do you think of this episode? Please let us know in the comment below, and be sure to hit the subscribe button to keep in touch with us for upcoming videos. But before we go, I want to give a big shout out to Patina Design Lab. They're the one who help us in making our brand, our direction, as well as these videos. They are a strategic design consultancy firm to help businesses with a wide range of design services, from industrial design, branding, graphic design, art direction, content creation, and many more. They are a very talented bunch, and I urge you to check out their website for their work. That's all for today, and see you next time. Cheers.